Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ladies, gentlemen, gamers, League of Legends lovers and haters and enjoyers and players, welcome back. We are here at 4 a.m. for rapid fire, quick, hopefully, patch notes review reaction. It's been a little over 2 weeks because I'm a little late with this, but we're here. I realized at 4 a.m. I didn't do this yet, so we're doing it now. I have work very soon, so I have more of an incentive to do this quick to get to bed. Anyway, let's get through it. This is where, though, TLDR in general, I think League overall has been getting better in a lot of things. I think for a long time now, we've been in the best spot with toxicity because Riot has just cracked down on so much shit. In general, they've made the game a lot easier. They've babied a lot of things. WASD is coming out relatively soon, I would say, and people have already been testing that with ADCs, and we've been seeing crazy good results. So that's interesting. But in terms of this patch, I think the biggest highlights are probably going to be Doombots, and then just we'll see balance wise. But it's the big start of season 3, so there might be big changes here. But let's see. So we've got big updates. We have a return to the regular map, which I could go into that for a while, but again, another TLDR. I guess people were a little sick of the accents. The accents weren't like crazy changing the maps either. I mean, I liked it. I liked the Ionia themed map. I think that custom maps are still way better, and Riot is lazy for not introducing custom maps of that caliber or like new maps of that caliber. Instead, they want to do stupid Nexus finishers, which are dumb and ugly. Excuse me, and you don't even need to buy because someone else is gonna have it anyway. But Xin Zhao got his ASU, which was reviewed by Exolol on YouTube, and he revealed that it's not that good, but it's still better than what we had, so fine. The new Battle Pass is better. It's not like the old Battle Pass, and I always say this every single time I react to anything League. The old Battle Passes gave you agency. The new ones, even though they give you more content, take away your agency, so a lot more people aren't necessarily going to have as much as they want. For instance, and I think it's a big trick to get you into the gotcha because it gives you free pulls, and then when you use them and you don't get what you want, you're gonna end up buying more. So it's a trick to get you into the gotcha system in the Sanctum, but also in general. If I'm not a Jhin player, if I'm not a Lulu player, and if I'm not a Jarvan player, I only play one of those champions, by the way, thank God. But if I'm not a player of those skins are essentially wasted on me. I would have rather turned that into currency and then just used it on whatever I wanted. But instead, they took it away. And that's the worst part. They take things that we've had away that were better. But because they distracted us with the chest fiasco, no one's going to really complain or even realize it or care. So it is what it is. Aside from that, they're doing more jungle timers, so they're babying you even more. And they have a balance changes for ARM as they always do, and then fame reset for Arena, which is cool. So they're adding new tools. They've introduced Vayne and Set in the jungle, which is crazy. API Relia, Lane King. What the fuck? What? What am I seeing? Now, granted, I haven't been on Rift in a while. I'm semi-retired, but like, what the hell? We got some small-scale balance updates. Okay, let's run through this shit. So the skins too, a lot of these are Battle Pass. Well, not a lot. Some of them are Battle Pass, but a lot of these skins are pretty decent. Very Darken themed, Arcana themed, and then nice little Alistar skin. We'll go over it at the end, but they're pretty good. So here's the new Battle Pass. They've made it slightly better. Again, it's not as good as the old one. We've already talked about it, but here's what you get. It's still pretty good for your money's worth. It's still a good deal. It just sucks that this is replacing the old one we had, which was, in my opinion, relatively better. Even though this one does give you overall more. You don't need to choose between a skin or an orb, and most people didn't grind it enough to get the amount of stuff I got, but still, it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. Either way, season reset, which is cool. Otacon now has a glaive because of lore reasons. Ooh. And then Zenjaga's visual update, like I said, it's pretty good, but it's not to the quality that Riot used to do Champions visuals, especially years ago too, which is crazy. As time goes on, the visuals, the skins, and the cosmetics in the game are getting worse, and it doesn't make sense because they were at such a high bar so long ago. By the way, that's gonna come out on Friday, so it's not even out yet, but that's fine. Oh, no, sorry, that's his champion theme. Never mind. So this should be out, because I'm also late with this anyway. So they've updated Xin Zhao's shit, which is great. Doombots is coming back, which is really cool. They've updated it again, and I think every time Doombots gets updated, it is pretty fun. It's a very decent challenge. I think it's very cool. It's one of League's OG game modes, which is really nice. I'm glad they haven't forgotten it. Unlike some game modes like Ascension. But hopefully we'll see that and more. My ultimate game mode is always going to be Swarm. I love Swarm because I love Vampire Survivors, but Doombots is going to be fun, and they've added a lot, and it was already good before, but they've even added more, so that's cool. So it's gonna be, five people versus bots, but man, try and survive. Main goal survive. This shit is fun. But yeah, I'm not gonna read all this shit. People can play and they can figure it out, but this is really cool. Curses spellcast barrier that normally turn on and off during the game will never turn off. Oh, so I guess there's a new difficulty. Oh shit. And this lasts for a while too. They're saying for 3 patches. Wow. And if you defeat all the trials, you earn the title Definitely Not a Bot. I fucking love that title. I'm gonna try and get that shit. I like this. See, I like when they offer rewards like that. I wish they offered a skin, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. Either way, game info tracking improvements. So this is where they're gonna say they're babying us more. So this is where uh they're basically talking about a lot of the external sites that people use. I mean, even I use it. U.gg is one of them. This is where a lot of people use add-ons as well to keep track of all this stuff, and it really brings up the question on if it's cheating or not to have all these things, because they're an obvious improvement. They're going to make you play better, and they do make the game easier, right? But there's obviously a difference between those and an aimbot. You still have to do things. This is something you could technically do if you're smart enough or if you had enough skill. But wouldn't you say the same thing about aiming too? Well, aimbotting is literally impossible. No one can ever do that. But high skilled players can do everything the add-ons can do. It just takes a lot. So, and this is where even with the add-ons, you can't really make a bad player good. It'll help them, but it won't help them too much either. So, League is basically saying like, okay, since we can't get rid of them, we're gonna give them to everyone in the game, which I think is a really interesting way to combat it. And I think it's pretty good. And they're updating their third party app policy. Wow. And they're restricting certain things. Wow. Okay. Interesting. And this is where I hope they don't use the argument like, oh yeah, we have our end game like item builder, because a lot of the times that isn't fully accurate. Granted, we're not back at the days where they said, oh no, the minions are attacking you, heal and build thorn mail on ADC, right? Thankfully, we don't have that, but still. And look, this is where they even say it. Back in my day, League didn't have jungle timers. They had nothing. So you had to either see it happened or you had to see the pit empty, and at that point you had to assume when it was. Now everything is told to you. There's a lot more information, which again, it always borders the line of like a slippery slope. Is the game overall easier? Yes, but that means you could focus on other things that are more fun too. Because at a certain point, keeping track of all these things, I don't think the majority of people found that too fun, personally. But either way, let's see what they're doing. New map timers are one of the most commonly used third-party features, so they're doing that. Okay. The advanced view display. So yeah, they're just adding all the info you would normally get from the add-ons, it looks like. They added jungle timers to the map, which is great for, I guess, newer players. And this is where you don't need a lot of skill to even do this anyway. So I really just feel like this brings up the lower level. Like it brings up the floor for skill. Now everyone is a little bit more better, relatively. And then death recap and summer spell tracking. This is where you can see that shit too. I'm not reading all this shit. We move the death recap out of the way. Nice. So they move the death recap to the side. All summers and ultimate spells used against you will now be displayed in the death recap. Cool. And even flash too. Wow. And then we'll display descriptive text. So this is all great for like newer, like more casual players. If friendly unit sees a spell used and you ping it, the same descriptive text will display. Oh wow. They're just making everything more information, and that's always, in my opinion, a good thing. More information is good, because knowledge is power. Anyway, let's get to the balance shit. Gwink! They're gonna nerf her. Gwink is so fucking good, and they're saying she's so good in pros. So they're lowering her armor, that's fine. They're upping her attack speed as compensation, which is fine, I guess. And then the R, they're nerfing the slow early, which I think is fair, because Gwen late game is a problem. You have to compensate it somehow. So thank God they're not touching her late or mid game. I'm completely fine with this. Well, relatively not touching it. This is good. This is fine. I'm okay with this. Irelia. They're saying they want AP Irelia. What the flying fuck? So they're adding AP scaling to her W and her E. Well, they're buffing the E. This is disgusting. They're also buffing the cooldown, so that's just the overall buff. This is a little scary. I think Aurelia is already decent-ish. I think she's a little bit of a problem, but man, they just really want you to be able to build AP and one-shot people. So there's that. Interesting. I like what they're doing. I just don't like that it's Aurelia. Saladin. He's bad. They're buffing him. Are the numbers crazy? It's 10%. No, it's not. It's not crazy. And this is 5%. That's whatever. Casson is pretty good, though. It's just he's a little hard. He's been really beat up since his release, so a lot of new people don't know, but man, Casson used to be a big issue. Anyway, now they're doing Lane Kane for some reason, too. And they don't want to buff Kane jungle. Also, they actually fucked up, Oh, no, they didn't. I thought they fucked up the spelling. That's Jungle Kane, Jane. So they're just buffing his mana cost. That's it. That's not really going to help him. Kog'Maw! Oh my god, are they touching Kog'Maw? Okay, let's actually spend a little bit of time on this. So, I think Kog'Maw is a very interesting character. One of my most played ADCs. In my opinion, one of the best late game ADCs, especially versus tanks. Now, I think because of all the changes to League, there's been a lot of things that helped him, especially increasing the attack speed cap, lethal tempo being what it is. But there's a lot of things that I think didn't help him, which is like a lot of the item changes on hit isn't, I believe, as good as it used to be. And just in general, balance changes to Kog'Maw. I think he's not in his apex. Is he still good? Yeah, he's relatively good, but I don't feel the same Kog'Maw I used to feel. I don't feel the power of the mouth. Now, this is where he almost got a rework, and people voted on it. Sadly, they didn't vote for him enough. And they did say, listen, we like AP Kog'Maw, but at the end of the day, he's a hyper carry first. We're focusing on that. I'm sad he didn't get a rework, because if you play perfectly, you have no passive. And realistically, the only real ability that matters in Kog'Maw's whole kit is the W. You cannot use any other button, Q, E, even R. I mean, R helps, right? All these things help. But at the end of the day, if you get rid of every other spell and leave his W, he can still do relatively really good in games. So I think the character is fun, at least for me, if you like the late game fantasy. I just don't think he's as strong as he was, so I hope they buff him. So seasons ago, the Mouth of the Abyss was once a viable and common mid lane. No, please, no, don't bring this back. Oh no, they're bringing it back. What the fuck? And this is kind of scary because his W scales off AP too. So hopefully he is going to get a slight buff towards his AD side on hit. So the Q's getting buffed AP by 10%, which is a really high ratio already. 90% is not a joke. And then it also shreds too, you gotta remember that. So the damage on the W is now buffed by a little bit more. So that's good. That's pretty good with AP scaling. And then the minimum damage of the ult is a little bit better. Maximum damage is still doubled. Wow. Okay. So overall, a little bit better. Mid lane, I mean, they're already saying too that Kog'Maw was kind of close to it anyway, but I guess they want to bring it back, which is crazy because usually for ADCs, this is the opposite. They want to restrict them. Lucian started going other lanes, they slapped his ass down. Uh, Graves started going other lanes, and they made him a jungler. Quinn started going other lanes, she's a top laner. So it's very interesting that they're encouraging Kog'Maw to go to mid. I hope, and I don't think this will ever happen, I really hope, but I really hope Kog'Maw does not end up staying a mid laner and not an ADC. That's going to be terrible. But either way, Kog'Maw's slightly better. Not bad. Yi. Yi kind of sucks. They buffed him recently by changing the way Terminus and Kraken works on him. I don't know if he's good anymore, but apparently he is, and they're nerfing him. So that's what it is. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on all these. MF, she's getting slightly buffed. Cool. So, yeah, she's really not anything special. Morg. So, I'm curious what they're going to do with Morg, because I think Morg is pretty shit aside from being kind of niche. I think the higher skill you go, she could be better, but she's hard to use. So, they are buffing her. But I just think her kit is kind of just ass and boring. It doesn't feel too good to play. The biggest reason why you pick Morgana is Black Shield, let's be honest. So, minimum damage per second is technically going up. Okay. So they're just slightly buffing her. Who cares? Okay. Neela, I hate this fucking person. I hate this fucking AD. This was their solution to everyone spamming ADC Yasuo. They're like, okay, you guys want a melee ADC here. It's not the same. But there's some psychos that like her, and I don't know why. I feel like she's terrible. She feels like shit. I fucking hate her. I don't know why people like her. Maybe I need to play her more, but like, God. But, they're taking away, like. Wait, what are they doing here? Wait, what? Oh, so they're kind of low key buffing her jungle clear, but this might just be for like if she's clearing the jungle like when roaming or something, or after landing phase. I don't really know, but this is ass. Who cares? Rumble. Rumble is low key really fucking strong, especially when he's on fire. They are nerfing him, which makes sense because he does so much damage. It's like crazy. And then the nerf is by like 20 here. Wow. Are they touching the max health too? They're not. Okay. Yeah, Rumble's doing sightless damage. She's doing a lot though. Senna. Senna's underperforming because if she's overperforming, it's a problem and you can't deal with it because she infinite scales. She gets infinite AD, infinite range, infinite crit damage, infinite lifesteal, which, you know, I say infinite, but 100% is the max, but still. You're not going to realistically get that in almost any real game, but you get really, really snowbally with Senna, where at a certain point, if you have tanks and you have Senna, you just don't lose, and the more you win, the harder you win. It's like Bel'Veth. It's a win more champion. Anyway, what are they doing? They're buffing her. They're buffing the heal by 20. No one cares. Set. They're increasing his bonus monster damage because they want him to kind of jungle. Cool. Singed. The duration of Q is less. Wait, they're kind of nerfing him. Wow. Oh, wait, what? Oh, they're just kind of... Okay, so this is kind of a bug fix, but interesting. I'll count this more as a bug fix, but it is technically a nerf. Okay. Teemo, you can see his traps better. Again, I don't know why this is even here, but okay. Vayne! So somehow they want Jungle Vayne to be viable, which honestly, to be real, Vayne is a scaler anyway, and if you want to just like farm your jungle, we need to have farming junglers back. We haven't had like a farming jungle in so long. And I feel like those are good jungles for noobs. Again, the high tier play, you're probably not going to do it because ganking is just so much worth. But the low tier players need to have something where it, you know, I mean, ganking is fun to watch, especially if you're shit. You know, if the player you're watching is shit. But I'm sad that farming jungle hasn't been like a thing in a long time. But what are they doing? Uh, oh wow, okay. Interesting. So I guess this is a buff early. If you want to play Vayne Jungle, start with Silver Bolts and then Max Temple. Huh. So you start with W. Okay. This is stupid, but whatever. Oh my dear God in heaven. Okay. So to kind of talk about Yunara a bit, I did play her. I played her on Rift. She's interesting. She's very, very simple, right? And we knew this going into her. She's a very, very simple champion. She's nothing crazy. But to be honest, I mean, I think she's good. I've seen pros using her, so that means I know she's good. But I don't know, she feels weird. Like she almost feels too simple to me. But granted, she's an AD. Maybe I've just played AD too long, but she doesn't feel like she stands out too much to anyone else. Like she feels slightly unique, but not very unique. She's very odd. Maybe I need to play her more, but let's see. She's definitely strong though, from what they say. And then they're nerfing her shit too. Damn. So what are they doing? Massive bug fixes. Sometimes the bounce could trigger multiple stacks per bounce. It's only one stack per bounce. Okay. Items would fail to do damage on Q bounces. The poros on the calculations behind the scenes are ready now. They're talking about the spaghetti code. Fix an issue where items like Renon's Hurricane were dealing full on-hit damage. Damn. Okay, that's kind of broken. Fix an issue where Renon's Hurricane bolts were having their on-hit damage reduced incorrectly. Interesting. Kraken Slayer plus Hurricane build. Okay, so she should be a little bit worse, but I don't know how crazy she is. She's pretty good, though. Like, if you're good at core mechanics, she is pretty good. And her range really helps her. The 575 range was shocking to me. Anyway, item changes. This is getting cheaper. Good, this item kind of sucks anyway. Verizon Focus is getting buffed because this item has no niche. It's just literally a stat stick at this point. They took away its niche, which was doing damage at range gives you more damage, whatever. It gives a lot of stats now for cheap. This is actually a really relatively competitive item, I think. Profaned Hydra, I hate this item. I don't like it. I like the other one better, but it's getting nerfed, but not too badly nerfed. They are taking away some AD, but they're making it a lot cheaper. Wow. And then Arena, wow, that's it. So they have new fame tracks, so now you can get more shit. Oh, shit. And now you'll get all the old augments too. That's actually really nice. Wow. Okay. So they're having new augments, so that's great. So the ban phase that had been merged with the picking phase, nice. So now it's a shorter experience, nice. And these are all the new augments. I'm not going to read those. We can experience those in game. But that's nice. I'm glad they are doing stuff with Arena. I still think they shot themselves in the foot by not updating the theme. I don't like that we're still with Noxus theme, but I guess it does make sense with the current lore, so it's fine. But I want them to really full-fledged out Arena. I think Arena is good. And China agrees, so they're going to do it. Okay, ARAM. So the Bilgewater Cannon map is getting updated. And they're buffing some other stuff too. Ocean's Crossing. Nice. You can go into the portal easier. And this is just like actual champion changes. We're not going to read these. And then here's the skins. Whoa. So returning Sanctum items. So this is where they're bringing back MF, which is, I guess this is old. I don't remember this being out fully, but granted, I don't remember much stuff from this game anymore. But either way, decent skin. I think this is a mythic of her legendary, which it's a pretty good legendary too, but she has an ultimate, which is basically a glorified legendary. The main thing I like about this skin is she says bunnies bounce. That's it. So all the stuff is going back, cool. Doombots is back, and that means all the skins are back related to it. Slayer Jinx is good, Underworld Wukong is pretty good, Reaper Soraka is a little old but okay, Zombie Brand is iconic and pretty decent, and Demon Trist is okay. All decent skins. And then, special Doombots Chromas. Oh! Wait, oh, you have to buy... See, they should have made it to where if you win Doombots, you get these Chromas for free. That's so ass. Man... That is ass, but whatever. Okay, I might get some of these. Some of these are decent from what I saw, especially the brand one. And then bug fixes. They're doing a lot of custom game updates, which is good, but sad because I don't really fuck with custom games. But that's how ARAM came about, believe it or not. ARAM was a custom game. And I think so was Crystal Scar. They did a lot of custom games there, but I don't even think people know what that map even is anymore. So new pick order, cool. VFX updates, cool. Honor progression. Ooh, I do feel like, because this is actually aimed towards people like me, because I don't really play Summoner's Rift modes anymore. I play ARAM and, you know, God knows everything else. Really not Summoner's Rift at all. But, which is going to change because I have to regrind rank now. But this is where, I did feel like Honor was a little bit harder to get now. It feels like they were prioritizing Rift players, which, with all the other shit they're adding, is kind of sad that it felt that way. But they're fixing it, which is great. Allegedly. And here's the upcoming skins. Like I said, very dark and themed Arcana. These two are in the pass. So is the Jarvan skin. And again, I described my problems with the pass, but overall these are really nice skins. The Alistar skin is very good too. I think it's tied to me with Black Frost. Black Frost is really good too. Overall, these are all nice skins. Lineup 2 is pretty nice. Lulu's nice. Jhin is great. Garen, it's not bad. I think that's the weakest skin in the line. Trend is okay. I like it because of the lore implications too. And then Jarvan, the one looks pretty good. It's just the end game is a little weird. And Alistar's nice. And there's Chromas. Anyway, that's the patch. It's almost 4:30. Jesus Christ, it's late as fuck. I hope everyone enjoyed. If I had to rate this one, I would rate it like... Technically, ADs did get buffed and they did try to update a lot of stuff. And they brought back new bots. Honestly, I'll rate this like a... And they are trying to do different stuff. For what they're attempting to do, even though I don't necessarily think it's okay, I mean, we'll see how it lands. Because they're trying to be so adventurous, I mean, it's the start of the season too, it's the only time to do this. Besides, like, you know, mid-year update and new season. I'll give them like a 7 out of 10 Mark Miles. I think this is decent. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. 7 out of 10 Mark Miles. Tell me what you guys think. If you want to see more of me, watch my Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. Hopefully, if we keep doing patch notes, because God knows if I will or not. I probably will, though. Hopefully we can get even quicker. Anyway, that's going to be it. Hope everyone enjoyed. Eee!